Hello, fellow board gamers. My name is Marcel. You do know me as your Lord of the Boards, and as you noticed, this video is in English. And this is because I do have a very special guest again. People who are supporting me, following my channel, know him. This is my good friend Scott from D-Verse. He's the designer of Nexus. Hello, Scott. It's so great to meet you again.
Hey, good to be here again.
Yeah,
Always
and
my favorite things to do.
it's very early in this in the US, so it's so great that you took the time to talk about this beauty here and the newest baby of it.
Yes,
But
yes. We
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, but let's talk first about what Nexus is, because there are people around who do not know Nexus. Of course, this is bad for them, but it's never too late in life to jump on this train. And yeah, let's talk about Nexus, and let's talk a bit about what already exists on the market for Nexus.
So Nexus is an arena combat skirmish game. Complete Ameritrash, dice chucking, super heavy, violent theme, some inappropriate humor in it. Definitely a beer and pretzel dice chucker just for hanging out with your friends and having a good time. We've got the core game, which came out a couple years ago now. Um, Everything's pre-painted in it, which is really nice. You just take it out of the box; it's ready to hit the table. Since then, we've released a legacy expansion, which kind of turns it almost into like a Blood Bowl season type of a feel, where you're going to have a continuation of all the characters and leveling up. Your fighters are going to get cybernetic enhancements, weapons, armor, all that kind of stuff. There's also lots of fancy component upgrades, aluminum coins, acrylic tiles, PVC plastic cards, which completed my vision of making the game entirely beer proof. So you can again have a good time, enjoy the game, and not worrying about breaking your miniatures. I love Kingdom Death and games like that, but they can be so nerve wracking even to handle anything on the table. Nexus is made to be played. People can get frustrated and throw their minis at each other, and it doesn't even matter. And then we've got a campaign that just funded for a big expansion with new characters, new hazards, AI opponents, more pre-painted minis, making it kind of bigger and more beautiful. And the latest thing that's going to be coming out on the horizon here is the solo mode, which is AI deck for people who can't find enough people that enjoy this type of a thing. They can sit around and they can play with themselves. No pun intended.
So that's a lot, and let me sum it up. This beauty here is the first box, and it's totally playable. You do not need more if you just want to bring it on the table, let's say 8 to 10 times a year. It's everything included. These beautiful. I will link, of course, the videos I did for it and some articles from you and so on. Awesome big helots. Helots are the gladiators here. And we are playing a Lanista, which means a future sports trainer who throws his helot into a space barge arena. And there the helots meet and they do compete against each other. And there are so many obstacles, there are floor saws, there are hazards, and so on. And our goal is, and you when I was listening to you, it sounds that it's yeah, how should I express myself? Um, there is no tactic included, but that's totally wrong, I think, because there is the crowd, and the crowd is offering me credit chips, which is the currency for everything. When I do moves, the crowd loves, and I am leveling up during the game. So there is, of course, the Ameritrash feeling, which I
Mhm.
really like. But we have the chance to think about our moves and to take tactical decisions.
Absolutely. What,
Yeah.
what I usually tell people is you have the whole saying, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Nexus is very much an in the moment tactical decision making. Long term strategy is usually going to fall apart very quickly
Yeah.
on you. but in the moment, there are, best moves to make. You look at your situation and your surroundings, where floor saws have been streaking, where the floor spikes may have popped up. And, do I want to just engage in combat with my opponent, or do I want to have my helot grab them and try and throw them into these floor spikes? There's tons of decisions to make, and it's a very, very sandbox mechanics when it comes to that. You have limitless options.
Limitless option, and it's a kind of a head cinema, yeah, because you have this great table presence. Please do watch a video about Nexus. And I will definitely link your source page where you do explain everything in detail, which is still one of the best I ever saw. Because Scott, you have your homepage there with the source. If you do have any question about Nexus, you just type it in, and then Scott, you drop that out and you explain it, how it works, like turning point mechanics and so on, and all these hazards. And there are different healers which do propose different kind of approaches to the game.
Yeah.
So if you like skirmisher, if you like bloody skirmisher, arena combat like Spartacus in space, you do have to try out Nexus. There is no excuse if you don't do that. This is from my perspective. And then the second thing you were talking about is the Legacy campaign, which is in my other room, and I am really frustrated that it did not bring it on the table. I was working on the rulebook myself, and I had a group, and we were about to meet, and then everything fell apart because of illness and such things. So there are hazards in real life too. And this is definitely the thing I was waiting most for, because I love Blood Bowl. But I sold all my Blood Bowl stuff because in the end I think I did play a lot of it and it's enough, and there is definitely no catch-up mechanic in Blood Bowl if you play with a guy. And here playing Nexus in a Legacy campaign, of course there is the opportunity with this Pit Lord, who is nothing else but a dungeon master, yeah. And
Yeah.
so this is the perfect Nexus experience to me, yeah. So
Yeah, I was really excited to finally get that one out. That was always kind of the true intention behind everything was having something like that, almost a Blood Bowl type experience, where you don't have to paint a whole team of miniatures, where you're not
yeah,
quite keeping track of that many things at the same time. A little bit more concise, a little bit more approachable for people, but that same feel. And we definitely we definitely accomplished that. It's been great listening to people talk about their Legacy experiences, and it's been a huge hit. So we're really, really excited to bring that one out.
and Legacy here means that your Lannister and your healer, they evolve, they get traits,
Yes.
they lose their limbs. So arm
Yeah.
gone, you need another arm, go to the D market and get yourself a cybernetic prothese or something like
Yeah.
that. And that's so awesome.
And,
There are these moments where you are just, you can't stop to laugh, yeah.
yeah.
Even
Yeah.
while reading the book, yeah, it's so great. It's an awesome book. I was buying RPG rule books for years, yeah, and
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
playing RPGs. Really, there is just one I'm playing now, but if you see this rule book from the Nexus Legacy, it is exactly the same quality. It's over 200, I think 80 pages, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and personally,
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated what the content of the last campaign, these Legacy campaign, was. So many things in that box. Yeah, I think you did not expect it to be that successful, huh?
Yeah, so when when I sat down and put it together, I always wanted to do like the faux leather book and have like the nice imprint, the ribbon bookmark and all that. I knew the book was going to be really nice. Tons of art in it because I love art, and I have a team of about 22 artists that I work with all over the world. They love working on the project for obvious reasons. It's a lot of fun. So I knew the book was going to be really nice, but then
Yeah,
as the campaign went and it started getting bigger, it afforded me the opportunity to put some really fun stuff in there, like the character pads. There's full color character pads in there for you. There's the GM screen,
awesome.
which is a nice high quality GM screen. Has all the shortcuts to all the weapons and all the character creation things. that you do in the game. And then I also had the opportunity to put together a narrative campaign for your group to sit down. You were talking about the pit boss, and I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and kind of be the pit boss for you as you're starting out in the Legacy Edition. So your first 8 sessions, I have a whole story kind of laid out to get everybody into the mood of the setting, to introduce them to the different hazards and the different barges and things like that. So it went really, really well. And what we ended up doing is we created a box set with, I mean, the book alone is probably can be sold for $60 to $70 American, and you get the book plus the GM screen and all of those things that I just mentioned, and it's just $50. It's
Yeah.
just a $50 set, which is
The price was awesome.
great
Yeah,
value.
it's
Yeah.
definitely of course, every creator, every publisher is saying, oh, it's double the value or so on. But let me tell you, as an owner, a former owner of a lot of RPG experiences, the book's value is €50. Everybody here would sell it. Every shop would sell it for €50. Then there's the GM screen, €25. Then, of course, the other material, it's in total it's €100. So
Yeah.
okay, and then there was the third campaign with another big box, yeah, and
Yeah.
I saw a lot of pictures, and it's definitely the same size as this one,
Yep.
because there are 4 new motivations, meaning helets, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for, no, not especially for people who tried out everyone. No, it's just different helets, which is awesome, yeah.
Yep.
And to me, the very special thing is, of course, the barge beasts. Yeah.
Beast, yeah.
And
Everybody loves the barge
yeah,
beast.
that's so incredible. Meaning the barge beast. Yeah, tell us something about the barge beast, please.
So yeah, so this is the barge beast. And again, so this is my production sample from my manufacturer. So this is how he's coming out of the box, pre-painted, gorgeous. If you look, he's a big boy. So this is your normal helmet. He's a 50 millimeter square base. The barge beast is a 100 millimeter square base, and he is a giant AI opponent who the players can choose to attack together and then try and kill each other, or just try and be the last one surviving and let the barge beast do all the dirty work for him. Has his own AI deck, just a big fun hazard for the game. We introduce that. We also introduce toxic waste barrels, which these are going to be spilled over. You'll get 4 of these in the set. They'll be spilled over. It'll add toxic waste floor tiles to the arena. If the helots get near them, they'll get radiated, which has some disadvantages. But if they decide to roll around in the toxic waste, then they'll get mutated, and they'll draw a card from the mutation deck, and they'll have that mutation for the remainder of the fight. We also introduce the dart columns, which this is pretty straightforward. These are going to be shooting darts at the players. You'll get 4 of these. Each of the darts will have varying effects. They might speed up your helmet, slow it down, knock it out. Different things like that. And then another AI hazard is the creature pit. So the creature pit is like a sarlacc pit, which will sit in the middle of the arena. It'll regurgitate former helots out at you. It'll try and grab your fighters with its tentacles and pull it inside of it. Another AI deck hazard. And then, as you were saying, there's 4 new helots. So we've got the Criticure. So one of the things in the lore of Nexus is you are not allowed to
awesome.
criticize a Nexus fighter unless you do it in the arena while you are fighting it. So that's what these helots are for. They go in and judge the other fighter's abilities. You've got the Bloodthirster. This is a very agile, flippy kind of helot. The People's Champion. This is kind of a Duke Nukem inspired. This is like the complete package. Loves the crowd, loves pandering to the crowd, and a true superstar. And then this is everybody's favorite. This is the Sadist, which again, this is the pre-production sample from the manufacturer. So we're gonna have the brain in the jar, all pre-painted for you, looking good. The other thing that I did in this expansion is I switched to a clear acrylic base.
Yeah,
So when they're sitting on the blood tiles and they're sitting on the guts tiles, you can actually see that underneath the characters.
that's an awesome
Um,
idea. Yeah. Will
we
there be the opportunity to switch the old ones?
Yeah, so it's gonna come with 4 clear acrylic bases that you can use to replace the original acrylic bases in the first game as well.
Nice idea.
Yeah. So that's all the fun stuff. And then for those who went ahead and backed it on Kickstarter or pre-ordered it on Gamefound, you get a free Targ the Carver. Now, Targ has been our mascot since the beginning. If you ever come to see me at a convention,
Yeah.
I have a giant 230-pound
Wow.
solid bronze version of Targ that I lug around with me to conventions. This is a fan favorite. He's going to be coming in his own little box, but there is a space in the unsanctioned expansion. There's a spot to store Targ in there. And that way, you don't have to have like a separate little box for Targ. So Targ has a home in the box as well.
Yeah. But of course, everybody of us is having a little shelf here for the miniatures. So when the last thing arrives, I will need more space because of these big pit bosses, the barge beast and the how do you call the one, the watcher in the water? How's it called?
The creature pit.
Creature pit.
Yeah.
So
We call it the creature pit.
yeah. Personally, I did not pull them back to the box. Here's just the box with the coins and the cards and so on, because they really look good. They really look good. It's pre-painted, but let me tell you, of course, you do know that. I do like my miniatures painted. So, but I'm 43 years old. I do have 3 children. I get older and older. And of course, I do paint some miniatures in a year. I think it's 50, not more than 50. And I start with priming them black, and then with the senescential highlight and dry brush. And this is some work, yeah? And then you do paint them with, let's say, contrast paints and so on. And if you paint that 4 miniatures with a kind of max miniatures, yeah, you will need, I do need 3 to 5 evenings, yeah, and I don't have that time. And in the end, what I do would not, I don't think that you would see a difference from my painting to the pre-painted. Probably if you get very close to them, but you don't do that every time. So from my personal perspective, the fact that it's pre-painted is a huge plus, because I can open the box and I can say, oh, it's arrived, and I just start playing, and I have hundreds of board games here. I want to paint a lot of them, and this is a great pro, because everybody of us knows, if you do have unpainted miniatures, probably you wait to play because you think, in the summer holidays I'll paint it. The next year, in 2 years I'm 45. If the children get ever adult, I will paint it. No, you will not do it. So this is a great solution from my perspective.
It's one of the big reasons I did it, is just being a father myself, and working and all the things. It's hard to find time to paint all of your games, and I never felt right putting gray plastic on the table. I do it from time to time because I really want to play a game, but it almost takes away from the enjoyment for me. So the pre-painted was always the intention with Nexus. Now, for people that do, excuse me, enjoy painting, and these are very nice models. My sculptor Roberto does a fantastic job with the modeling. He's one of the best. We do offer a My Mini Factory where people can download the STL files of all the miniatures, and if you do want to paint them yourself, that's always an option in the Nexus. We have a huge fan base out there that does all their own painting. They're constantly posting pictures of the stuff in the Discord. It looks, fantastic. So don't think that, oh man, these are pre-painted, I wish I could paint them myself. You absolutely can. My tribe on My Mini Factory is only $1 a month. It's not there for me to get rich. It's there just to give you all access to the product and let you enjoy the game however you want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I will include a link to My Mini Factory and to your special offer there in the video description. But now the main reason we are talking today is that there are some people, including myself, who want to play the game, and then it could happen that there are players who say, "Oh, I'm ill, I cannot play today," or there are of course situations where you actually do want to play with more people, and you don't find enough people because well, I would say that it is not a two-player game. You can play it with two players head to head to learn the game, but I think it excels with 3 to 4 players. Four is definitely the most striking experience, but if you are
Mhm,
3 people, it's great. But
mhm.
there are times you are sitting with one guy there and you would wish that you have more healers in the arena, and then you
Yeah.
came up with a new idea there.
Yeah, so for years, I mean, since the beginning, people have been asking for a solo version of Nexus. And because of the nature of Nexus, it was very hard for me to achieve that. I had multiple designers over the years come to me with ideas on how to do solo play. And what it did is it essentially changed the game and it made it something different than what it was in order to be able to play solo. Um, there was an epiphany that I had at Adepticon this year, and I got very excited about it. When I returned home from Adepticon, I actually started putting together a solo mode for Nexus. And what we have now is we have the what I call the Nexus Alone in Your Room expansion.
Okay,
So this is this is Nexus for those who either want to play by themselves or want to bring an extra characters into their fight. So as you were saying, let's say there's just two of us playing, we really like that feeling of a 3 hellet or a 4 hellet match. Well, this deck allows you to do that. It's a solo deck and it's basically an AI deck. It's going to have the completed version will have anywhere from 80 to 100 cards in the base deck. And the way this is going to work is you're going to roll for initiative and do all the things that you normally would do. You're going to add one extra ratio die for each AI opponent. So if you are going to add 2 AI opponents, you add one of the red dice and one of the blue dice, the 6-siders, and then you'll draw a card. And when you draw a card from this AI deck, it's going to have the trait die roll on there for you already.
I
So you
see.
can see
Yeah,
this one is Fizz and you're going to have these 3 different blocks depending on what you rolled on the ratio die. And it's always going to be different. So it's not like you're always going to want to roll a 6 to get the best, or you're always going to want to roll a 1 to get the best. That's going to be randomized between the different cards. And these values are going to correspond to different effects of their attack. And this has grappling in it. It has standard attacks, wild attacks. It goes over the hellet's positioning depending on the rolls and things like that. So everything it feels very much like you're fighting an opponent. The only the only difference between this and a regular opponent is going to be things like the movement. So for the movement in Nexus, everything is grid based. You're going to have obstacles. You never know where things are going to be for the AI. This will tell you the position of the AI opponent in relation to your hellet,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's not going to say move forward 3 and then move left 2 or anything like that. It's going to say this is where you move the AI in relation to the hellet that it's attacking.
Okay.
And if that square happens to be occupied, it has rules for how to rotate, whether you rotate it left or right between the different squares. The play testing has gone over fantastic with it. And what we did is, so we have this base deck of cards, and within all of these cards, you're going to have certain boxes that are going to be marked as special attacks. And the special attacks, you're going to refer to the hellet opponent cards that you're going to be fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And each hellet has different trait moves, different uh, what do you call always active strategies, and then all the different specials. So you have a completely new fighting experience for each one of the hellets that you're fighting. This also makes it very easy for you to go in
Wow.
and design your own helots. If you want to go into that pit boss role
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I think it would be great if I was fighting a helot that did these things. You're down to just designing one card that completely changes the whole fight and the whole style of the entire deck, which gives you a lot of control and it just increases that replayability of it. I'm always a big supporter in the aftermarket stuff and for fan-based content. And I always try and make it very easy for people to bring their ideas into the community and get it shared so people can get maximum enjoyment out of the game. And I did the same thing with this solo mode where you can really sit down, you can design a fighter and change the entire style of play for the decks that everybody already has.
That does look really promising. Is there a way that the AI will respond to what I, as a real player, do?
So yes and no. You're going to have different things. You're familiar with all the statuses.
Yeah, of course.
Where you make them bleed, where you're going to have somebody grapple, different things like that.
For
So
example, if
depending on
somebody is on fire, will it try to remove the fire, for example?
yes, it will try and remove the fire. So that's all part of that role. You're going to see these status effects right here listed,
Yeah,
and everything's kind of color coded.
yeah.
So let's say my helot's bleeding, and I roll a 6, which is this blue category. Also, I made sure that these are all colorblind safe colors as well. So
Wow.
even the players out there that are colorblind, they will be able to differentiate all the colors and be able to use this deck. That was of huge importance to me.
Hmm.
So if you roll this blue, which blue is classically like the best roll that you can get, right? That's going to automatically remove any status effect.
Ah,
If you get this lighter blue, you're going to have 2 chances to remove the status effect, and you'll roll as you normally would. And then the yellow, you'll have 1 chance to remove that status effect. And then if you get into this orange, then there's no chance. You're still stuck with that status effect on that AI opponent. Um, there are the extra standard attacks and extra wild attacks against the prone opponents and things like that. Basically, all the same game rules that you have in Nexus. It's the same game.
hmm.
The only thing that is different is you have this AI opponent that is uh, going through the same rules that you're using in the game.
I think it's a very smart solution to use that color-coded mechanics there to put out flames and so on, and that's really really smart. And I don't want to offend anyone who did play it with me, but from what I see there, probably the AI will be better than some of my players I had I had in the pit with me. So nobody offended, but in the end, I think this game really how should I express myself? It really works good with an AI because the game itself is structured in a very chaotic way. Because there are so many situations where I did not expect a real player to respond to my action in a way. Because it's different than if I stand with my Spartacus gladiator there and I go run to him. Of course, he will hold up his shield. You will not
Yeah.
definitely do that. Yeah, probably you will go around and pack a box, destroy a box, you will throw something at him. You will not every time evade or protect yourself because the only goal is to please the crowd. And
Yeah.
here in this situation, I think an AI deck will work really, really good. And I'm more than interested to try it out myself.
Yeah, it's been very exciting getting the feedback back from everybody who's been playtesting it. It was I really anticipated, a lot of different iterations and a lot of and work, which we have been doing. But right off the bat, the core idea of it seems to have landed and been, great. There's a particular group that's been playtesting it that is not using it for solo play. They're using it to add third and fourth players to their matches,
That would be my
and
intention,
they
yeah.
love that. Yeah, they absolutely love using it like that. So yeah, it's been great. I'm very excited to finally be able to deliver this. I know there have been a lot of people that have been waiting on a solo mode, just because that's the nature of gaming. Sometimes some people just are either due to the theme or just due to schedule conflicts, they just don't get the opportunity to be able to play with others. And solo is a huge thing for them.
Yeah, it is.
And
Yeah.
I've never wanted to do a solo mode as what I call a cash grab. I've seen a lot of games that are like, yeah, we got a solo mode just so they can sell it. And then you get it and you play it and you're like, okay, yeah, I guess this is a solo mode, but this isn't even the same game. This is like, this isn't good. And I never wanted Nexus to be that, which is why I've held off for so long in this. But very, very excited about bringing this one to the table.
But really, I have to second this again. I think it's a very interesting and a very important addition to the game, because I love the matches with 4 players most. Really the most. And it's no problem to me to get 1 or 2 people to my table, but it often did not work to get the fourth. So I would definitely add this deck to have a full table. So awesome idea. And 2 more questions now.
Sure.
Is there any kind of crowdfunding campaign planned, or how will you do that? And probably, I don't know, the second question could be, could you probably combine the delivery of the Unsanctioned and the AI deck? I don't know. So many questions.
So we're gonna do a campaign on Gamefound. I experimented with Kickstarter the last campaign. It was okay. I prefer Gamefound just because I don't have to get everybody over from Kickstarter to Gamefound to do the pledge manager. I really think it's way more convenient for everybody to just have the pledge manager on the same platform. I don't know why Kickstarter is so far behind. They have more than enough money and people to be able to do this, but I'm gonna go with the service that's actually catering to gamers and doing it well. So Gamefound is going to be where the campaign is. I've got a preview page up on Gamefound right now, which just kind of has a basic little teaser for it. I'm going to start putting more and more information on that in the coming weeks. My plan is to probably launch it in September or October, here within the next couple months. And the reason being is I'm going to get the manufacturing of this solo mode done along with the unsanctioned expansion. So the heavy lifting of the unsanctioned expansion, as I was showing you, is already done. We've got the models all set up. So when I'm printing all the cards and all the print components for the unsanctioned expansion, I'm also going to be printing the solo mode with that. So that being said, if you've backed the unsanctioned expansion, or if you back it now, I will have an option to have the solo mode delivered along with your pledge for the unsanctioned expansion. And then if you're just new to the whole thing, if you've been waiting on the solo mode to jump in, I'll have pledges in the solo campaign where you can kind of get a bundle with everything in it, obviously. But yes, you will be able to get it delivered with your unsanctioned expansion. And if you haven't jumped into Nexus yet, you'll be able to jump into it. One thing I do want to say is for those of you who were in the unsanctioned expansion, you found we added some things I wasn't expecting, like the PVC plastic card deck. And then there was also the acrylic tile set and a neoprene mat for a more travel-friendly version of the game. These things were not expected, and I had an all-in pledge in that unsanctioned expansion. And I am of the mind, if I have an all-in pledge, when somebody comes to my campaign and they click that and they buy it, you get everything in the campaign. That's what all-in means. I know a lot of campaigns will be like, this is our all-in pledge, and you can add this, and this, which we also released in the campaign. I don't do that. And because of that, the all-in pledge for the unsanctioned expansion is an insane deal, because you're essentially getting these acrylic tiles, these PVC cards, and this neoprene mat almost for free compared to, the pricing. That will not be the case in the solo campaign. So if you think you're going to go all in the solo campaign, I would recommend you do it now in that unsanctioned campaign, because I'm going to shut that one down as far as new pledges once the solo campaign launches. And then that all in pledge will actually reflect all the content that's going to be in it. So if you're thinking you're going to go all in, go to that unsanctioned campaign in the next few weeks, and go ahead and go all in there, and then just pick up your deck in the solo mode.
Okay, that's an important information. Yeah, but
Yeah.
to me, I think it's really cool that you combine shipping, because we do not need 3 parcels or 2 parcels, and paying shipping and value-added tax and probably customs and so on. There are people who are affected from customs. It's a great and then this is a great decision. But to me, of course, the universe and how the universe did expand and what it offers
Mhm.
to us, really, I can't stress it enough. It's awesome to have the opportunity to play with a complete table with 4 people without having 4 people. That's the core information you should pick there, because my advice would be to play at least with 3, if not able with 4 people. That is pure chaos and it's just fun, and you will have an evening you will not forget, and you will want to have the next evening, the next week, and in the end. Oh, one more question that came to my. Will that expansion already also work with the legacy campaign? I assume.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you'll actually be able to play Legacy solo, which is another really exciting part of this. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
almost a solo Blood Bowl, Legacy campaign experience, RPG.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So one last question then, which is of course not easy to answer. As you will launch the campaign the upcoming month, or October, September, or so on, do you have a timeline when everything will be produced and the shipping handling will start?
So production seems to be right on track for everything to be delivered in the first quarter of next year. So you never know what could potentially happen. Manufacturing, I think, is going to be pretty streamlined. That's going to go smoothly. I've been working with my manufacturer, Longpack, for years. They've always been right on with their timelines and their estimates with me. So that part, I have no worries about. Where things will get a little bit up in the air is when it comes to shipping. Once you get everything on the boat and then that boat sets sail, you never know exactly what's going to happen with it. I've been very fortunate compared to some of the stories I've heard from other publishers. All of my stuff seems to, come through fairly quickly, knock on wood. I seem to move through customs pretty easily. I haven't had any custom hangups or anything like that. But those are always uncontrollable factors that can result in delays in the campaign.
Yeah.
But I definitely expect this to be delivered in the first quarter of next year, and then everything will be out there. The original vision of Nexus will be complete in its form, with the barge beast, with the legacy book, with all the stuff. We'll have we started in 2018 trying to bring all of this to the market, and it looks like the finish line's just right there in sight.
I do repeat myself, as we are talking frequently to each other. I was one of your first followers in one of these ancient Kickstarter campaigns, which looked
Yeah.
so compelling to me. And when I received that box, I was so lucky. And what is coming here, it's so great. Every one of us fans will keep our fingers crossed. And personally, I hope that the crowd of fans does get bigger and bigger, because the game deserves it, and the crowd, the people deserve that experience. So awesome. And I think we will have probably an Easter brawl there with the unsanctioned box, and
Yeah.
then we can add new players to our game. So great. These are huge information, Scott. I am so happy we talked, and I want to thank you for your time, especially as it's very early in the US there.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. Absolutely love talking with you, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this. It means everything to me. I don't pay a lot for the attention with all the other people out there that are that are doing the reviews and stuff. So When someone's a sincere fan of the game and wants to talk about it, it's just, I love it. So thank you so much for that.
It's a win-win situation, I think. So yeah, Scott, I wish you having a nice day, and yeah, we stay in contact, we write, we speak. Thank you for attending.
Sounds great. Thank you again, bud. Appreciate you.